to Crafting Sundays, and this is in the 1 p.m. hour, Pacific Standard Time on the 999 ASMR Texture Tarot Visual Textures show. And so this is a canvas panel, and we are going to attempt to paint watercolor on it. And so what I'm going to start first is spraying. Hello, Aziru. Welcome. What I'm going to start first doing is spraying a little water down on this, just to moisten it up. So the Jolly Eddie, welcome, welcome. We're just going to do some random thing here, and I'm using my acrylics again, like watercolors. I do have the brushes I'm going to be using are these ones here. These are this is a Da Vinci Petite 3.0 watercolor brush, and this one is, the brand name of it has disappeared. It's a couple years old, and so they are both watercolor brushes. Okay, all right. I hope that you recover soon enough, and then I'm going to use this liner brush. I have a couple of these, but we're going to try and just do something random. And so I'm going to start first by just mixing down some paint. Maybe we'll use this Azilron Crimson. I started using some of this last night, but we're going to add a bunch of water to it, and just to push the water around, push the color around. And I'm also going to be using a hair dryer to speed up the process, because you only put so much color on before things start to turn into mud. And so that's what we want to avoid, is a muddy color. I might actually add just a little bit of this reflex rose into this color as well. And so we'll have two slightly different colors. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. I had a good night last night. And I tried the screencasting thing on Friday, but I didn't really feel like I didn't feel like I had any access to the chat. And so that was kind of disappointing. I'm just going to lay down some color patterns here. So the colors are just sort of running around, and they're sitting on the surface. They're not really being all that observant. So we're just going to do some random color patterns here. Maybe we'll just push the color around like this. I don't know what we're doing. You know, it doesn't really matter. Right now we're in an experimental phase. We're experimenting with, this is a canvas panel, experimenting with trying to make watercolors, to use it for watercolors. And I'm still actually in a largely an experimental phase anyway, in trying to figure out how to do watercolors as well, because these are not watercolors. These are acrylic paints which mimic oils. And right now I'm taking this primary blue and I'm mixing it with some reflex yellow to make a sort of a greenish tone. And I think this is going to be something like a flower. I really want a more crisper line, but I don't think that I can get it, because, so maybe we might try a different one of these. And so let's come up over here, and then I'm just going to use a different brush for this. It doesn't really matter, right? And I'm going to make another color. Let's take this reflex rose and mix it with this primary blue. and to make a lavender. Hello, Jeff. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to my experiments, the experiments in color, experiments in painting. Welcome to the I don't know what I'm doing hour. How about that? Idiots and paintbrushes. You know, I was like thinking of a movie that I really, really like called The Amateurs. And one of the characters in that movie is called Some Idiot. And so if I add that in my welcome veil, if I add that in my title, any of my titles, it is a reference to a movie that I really like. It's actually a Jeff Bridges movie, and it's really a funny movie. I've seen it multiple times. It's not a I think it's rated R or something like that. I'm just really just trying my best here to make flowers that look nice. Now this one looks like crap. Fastbook, welcome. Hello from Scotland. Yes, and hello. I'm here in Oregon right now. So this flower is really kind of not really working very well, but maybe we can do something to it to make it look better. Some of this reflex rose in this azalea on crimson, and anyways, let's just kind of get moving on. The live is booming today. Well, maybe. Vale, welcome. Yeah, it would be nice. Booming. So we'll just kind of go in here and make something that might look like plant life. I can always move on to another one. The live was booming for about 30 seconds, and now it's just back down to its regular level of boom, you know. Just sort of using the flat of the brush, using the flat of the brush, moving that color around that way. Generally, when I try to do stuff like this, when I try and do stuff like this, I do draw my image out with a colored pencil. Then I sort of fill in the gaps, just fill in the gaps. I'm gonna just use this same technique because I kind of like how the feel of it this way, of just laying that color in. And this is not necessarily a watercolor brush. This is a liner brush. That's what they are called. And it takes a little while to gain the muscle dexterity to use this, because when you're first starting out painting, you're gonna try and make fine lines. You're gonna be trying to make lines, and it just doesn't work. And so I'll just set this aside here. So we're gonna just try this whole thing of making lines, and I can show you. Let's say we use this brush here, and we're gonna dip it in some water over here. I'm gonna put it into some of this paint, and we're gonna just draw a line. And this is reflex rose, and so you look at the lines, and then now you have an image in your head about what you want to do. Well, when you start laying those lines down, you realize that my lines look like crap, and so it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, and so you can get really frustrated with painting simply because the lines are not working like you want them to. And the paint looks gloopy, it looks sad, and then you get frustrated, and then you give up. And then maybe you just try different brushes. You try brushes that have thinner points, and you get that, and then it just doesn't quite work. And that's kind of, you get on this path of buying brushes. Next thing you know, you spent $200 on brushes. Where is my paper towel at? I don't have a paper towel, but that's kind of, I have a lot of brushes. I have probably spent since 2017, I have probably spent probably $400 or $500 just on brushes alone. And because, like, for instance, this one here is $22. Though I do remember distinctly paying $10 for this one, and I was trying to find another one, but I couldn't find it. But this one here was $22. And I'm sure that this one was like in the $7 or $8 range. I did go to an offbeat store, and I bought these. I bought like 20 of these at 3 for $1, just because. Anyways, but they're cheap brushes, and cheap brushes work like cheap. So what we were talking about was lines and how to make thin lines, and I'm still working on that. But we'll just kind of use some of this paint here. This is a thin down yellow ochre. I'm gonna thin it down some more and add a little bit of this reflex yellow to it. I'm just gonna do a little line work while that other piece is drying a little bit. And it's just showing you that lines are very difficult to do. You think it's easy, but it's not. And so let's say we take it here, and you're just gonna pull it out, pull out the color. And now, so that's actually using this as a liner brush. It seems to work a little bit better, but I'm using a lot more control here. Finer touch, more water, and coming out here. Now, let's say we take this brush here, and you should be able to come in and just bring it out, barely touch, and bring out some lines. And so you see that. So we started with this brush here, but let's say we go back to this brush and see if we can make a fine line with it, because it just may be an issue of muscle control. And so I'm going to come back in here and just give it barely a touch. So just barely touching it, barely touching the brush to the page. We are working on building lines. So see there? So this brush does work too for making fine lines, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're just starting out painting, be patient with yourself, because that's the being patient with yourself. That's really the technique that you need to be patient with yourself and not get all that overly frustrated with what you're trying to do, because it's never going to really work out the way you want it to. And so you have to be able to let go a lot of what you think you should be doing. So I'm going to come in here with another line. I'm just going to pull it up here, over here, and I'm going to go into this other brush, wet it down, Fatima, welcome. Welcome, Fatima. We're just kind of giving it the best college go that we can. I'm just going to put this over here, some blue. And adding the colors in here. Looks like a starfish, doesn't it? In actuality, that almost mimics what nature is like when you think of all the imperfections and you're trying to make a flower and make it more perfect, but maybe perfect is not really what you need to even be trying to achieve here. I put a lot of color down in here, but maybe we'll just try and move this color around. Move it around. It's kind of gloppy, gloopy, puddles around there. Let's kind of try to get it to be less like that. There we go. All right, now let's just try and make another one. Just drawing a line out. Just trying to make something beautiful today. There we go. I'm probably going to get the old hair dryer out here in just a minute. And because I want to do some background here. But I also want to build these colors up a notch or two so that it looks more, it looks less like 6-year-old art. That's what we're trying to avoid, is making it look like this is what second graders do. I'm just adding into this gloppy mess of color. This is reflex yellow right here. Reflex yellow. And the paint brand I'm using here is Amsterdam paints, and that's what I'm using for my practice paintings. And let's just bring in some other colors. You know, trying to get some ground and how that ground works. All right, now I'm gonna turn my hair dryer on for a bit. I just want to do something just to dry this out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna mute it so you don't have to be blasted out. Well, ain't that interesting? I wasn't expecting that, but you know what? We're just gonna incorporate that into this whole and make it part of the whole overall package of what we're going for. I want to make a background that contrasts with these colors, and maybe we're gonna just go with straight up yellow. And straight up yellow. Why do I feel like I'm coming down with something? I'm probably coming down with another migraine. I didn't sleep very well, or it was all really twitchy last night. I think it was the bread that gives me, if I have bread too late at night, it makes me kind of twitchy. I've had that like I'm, maybe I was just stemming. Maybe that was what it was. I'm going to make this color yellow. I'm going to come in and just sort of make it like a yellow. It's kind of in a whole background here. This goldish yellow, and then we're going to come back in and fill in. I just want it the whole background to be this. And so how you guys doing? And getting ready for Christmas and all that? Well, Amanda, welcome, welcome. I was like noticing when your latest stream came across my feed last night just how beautiful you look these days. At least that's how you looked last night. And yeah. All right, let's just take some more of that reflex yellow, and we're just going to add it in here. It's got all these other colors on there too. It's kind of making it kind of a golden color. And mixed with all the mud that's in my water receptacle. Yeah, that's a little bit more yellowy. There we go. It's kind of like the sun, the sunburst of color that's just coming forth from just the ground. That's kind of just what's in my mind right now, what's in my imagination. Oh, well, you know, we all want to feel beautiful. But, you as being a beautiful woman, it probably really helps with that you attract a lot of people into your channel because of that. Actually, these water streaks on here are kind of interesting. The happy accidents, that's what Bob Ross would say. Happy accidents. We're not really going for in your art class, huh? You're in a Grinch mood for Christmas, I understand. It's like I inherited that from my dad because he was always so negative around Christmas time, and is always reminiscent about who died during the who died and ruined Christmas for him, during the holiday seasons, and then the older I get, the more I just try not to embody that energy. But when you're flat broke, it's easy in our society, as with how we celebrate Christmas, it's really, really easy well, yeah, sticking around. I understand that. I mean, So what is your? I would just love to ask you what your AVD is. Your average. I know mine's like on these live streams. It's like around 40 seconds when I get people looking in, and it's about like 40 seconds. And I have that same problem. I really want to talk, Amanda. I was like talking about this on my live stream last night. Um, it would be nice actually just to do some shows where you talk about nothing but YouTube and to um, how to do those things that we want to do with YouTube. How do we get people to stay around and stick around? So it's bringing you cold this year. Yeah, I'm still working on your painting, but I actually have a smaller canvas that I'm going to do it on because it's going to be easier for me to ship it across the country on a piece of canvas. Is no a clay board, and I can show you what clay board looks like. I have an underpainting on the piece of clay board. It's something that would be like this. It's a hard surface, but I have a 9 by 12 that's this surface here, and I can ship that across the country with minimal boxing and packaging. And so this is it's a hard surface to paint on, gesso board, I think, and um, so it's more like a professional panel rather than a stretched canvas. It So this is a painting that I started years ago but haven't finished, and I got stuck. And I'm probably going to paint over this, but this is the same material. I like painting on hard panels, that and wood and so forth. And so, anyways, I'm going to do a little bit more of this background sky, and then we're going to work on that foreground a bit. So yeah, that was kind of because I had another canvas that I bought, but I got to thinking about, man, the shipping cost is gonna be really super high, and probably in so that's kind of what I've been thinking. But the whole thing that happened in November has really put a damper in my spirits, and I don't really want to talk about it here. And you should know what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna mention that at all. Not mention it. So anyway, so we got all this sunlight in here, and so I'm gonna go back and work on those flowers again. I'm kind of liking where this is going. And let's just work on these. But this is actually kind of interesting. So it's kind of growing off into the sky. I think we might actually, yeah. Let's go make another color here and add it in here. And we're going to just sort of put the white in here. Maybe we'll just put it thinly over the top, like a thin, transparent layer of white in here. Yeah, I'm liking that. Make it kind of a lacier color. Make it look kind of lacier in here. It'll dry up. Having a more pastel-like effect. There we go. This is actually kind of turning out kind of nice too. Kind of purpley, pinky kind of a color. It's got a lot of texture there. And then we'll come back over it and add some other colors too. I think I'll do the same over here. But what I want to kind of do is, now we have these stuff going on. I hear like this ticking noise, like when I used to be over. Thank you, Amanda, and welcome for coming in for just a few minutes. I know last night was such a nice stream for. Now my painting didn't work out like I planned, but it's all right. All right, let's go with I'm going to go with this phthalo blue, and we're going to come in here and use this phthalo blue. Yeah, I think I'm definitely coming down. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that stuff. I'm becoming into it. I'm becoming one of those old people I swore I would never be, which is the one who talks about health stuff. I remember when I was a kid and listening to the adults talking about that, and told myself I would never do that. Never, never, never be that guy. I think I'm going to take these and just take these tendrils and move them all the way across, like tendrils of life just coming out. All right, now I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to add just some more of this reflex rose to it. Just make I really like that lavender color that comes when you add reflex rose to either primary blue or phthalo blue. It makes really a pleasant color. I'm going to thin that down a bit. Today we're just using water as a thinner. I'm not using any glazing fluid or gel medium or anything like that, because we're just pretending like we're dealing with watercolors. And here we go. The happy accidents are turning into something more. Let's just move this tendril all the way over there. Maybe this one over here. Coming down like that, and like that. And so that's what we got going. And then I'm going to add another layer of color onto here. And I think I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some of this Zilron Crimson to it. Tom, welcome back. Welcome back to my stream. I didn't do a thumbnail in advance. It just kind of, the time just sort of crept up on me. And yeah. So this is like Tom, this is like a first time me doing this exact exercise. Using a canvas panel, because one of my biggest cheerleaders and supporters, who's been a childhood friend of mine, sent me a big box of art supplies the other day. Actually, it's been more like a couple months. And these canvas panels were a part of it. They were part of what was given to me, and so I am making use of it. I think he got them at like a Goodwill, or I don't know. I don't know where he got them. They just showed up. I know when stuff shows up that I never ordered, I just know that it comes from my childhood friend. It doesn't live that far away. I need to go in and visit more often. But his life is very, very busy between being a full-time dad and so forth, and taking care of people. Me as a full-time caregiver of my mother, who's going to be 85 pretty soon. Oh, I actually did not add any gesso onto this stuff. I have a little bit of gesso left, and so I'm just doing this as a practice, and so I just skipped the gesso. But if I were doing a more professional painting, then I will prep everything with gesso. These are supposed to be they're pre-primed, so I did not add gesso to them, but what I did do is I sprayed water down over the whole surface first. And the one tutorial I watched on doing watercolor on canvas, it said you need to wet the surface down first. They didn't really talk about gesso. Some of them said, yeah, gesso. You don't necessarily need, I don't know, maybe you need gesso, but I have gesso, but it turns out to me to be more like an afterthought. Let's go maybe do some more of this color here. I like that. And I think I'm almost done here with what I want to do today. I need to take a walk before the sun goes down. It is in the little valley that I live in. It's shaped like a V like this, and it's on a north-south orientation, and so and it's not that far across. The whole valley's like maybe at the most it's like a half a mile across in spots, but in other parts it's like a third of a mile across. But with the trees and everything, during the wintertime, the shadows set on the valley around 3:30, and so I need to get my mom up and the dog up and to go take a walk, and I'm going to do that about 2, which is in 20 minutes from now. So I think this is looking really good. We have a little bit of extra, maybe we'll make a little extra flower over here. Kind of a thing. And maybe it's kind of coming in from up there. Tom, I looked at those tarot decks that you were talking about, and I looked at one of them, the one that you said was the most expensive one, and that one has really interesting line work on it, very crisp lines and colors. I like it. let's go over here with just this primary red and kind of adding to it. There we go. I think that looks good. Yeah. I don't think we're... Let me see. Is there anything else I can do to this one? Let's just go a little bit wild here and put some of this. I'm going to change brushes. And maybe just like that. Go back in, add some more white into it. The water is just sort of, it's all kind of pooled up on here, so I'm kind of loath to really do too much to it because of that. I want that water to dry first before going and adding any new layers. And I'm not going to bust out the hair dryer again because it's gonna make the colors run a bit more. But maybe we'll put another little flower thing, plant-like thing here. This one coming down here like that. But then we'll just kind of fill in the blanks, maybe make it blue. Just added to that yellow background, makes a nice greeny tone. So we're kind of looking like this sort of a rainforesty thing going on. There. Maybe it comes up there. Yeah, I like that. There. Use this reflex rose. It's going to add it in. Just giving it a little bit more color. There. There. Starting to get some more complexity. Just adding some more layers of color. I can't really do anything about that. There's just too much water pooled up around it, so. And so at this point in time, I'm just running the straight colors right onto the surface. So we've ceased using the acrylics as watercolors, and we're just using them as just acrylics to give that a bit more vibrancy, adding some more vibrancy to it. This reflex rose is a really nice color. And I'm almost done. I'm going to come in with this primary yellow, and I'm going to add a layer of primary yellow. It's not moving on here as good as I want it to, but I want to add, that brush is a little bit dried out, so the pigments aren't working very well on there. So I'm just going to change out to a different brush. I have 3 liner brushes just like that. And we're going to go move on to this one. Wet it down just a bit. See if we can get that color to lay on here. Give this stem here just a little bit of complexity. Might actually go for a more transparent black and add it right on there, but I don't think I want to do that. This dark kind of a greenish color almost kind of fits that bill there. And I'm just going to run from straight blue mixed in there, and then it mixes the colors as we go along, and so it has like this chlorophyll kind of a greenish tone to it, which works. It's not exactly a color you see in nature, except I have seen it. Yes, I have actually. I'm going to move this over that. Giving this stem just a little bit more life. Kind of has like some blue veins in it. There we go. Maybe we'll just do just a little bit of black, my initials. WJL. And this is 24 still. It doesn't look very well, but there we go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. That's all I'm going to do here. I'm going to come back Tuesday night to do some kind of a Tarot Tuesday. I'm going to do something tarot related. I might start working on that Oracle deck that actually work on something. I'm going to work on something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but we'll find out. And I wanted to thank Early Ritual, Fatima, Tropical Empress and Spirit, Aziru, Fatima, Vale, Fastruck, Jolly Eddie, and everybody else who tuned in, pushed the like button, or even pushed the sub button, who did that today. Thank you very much, and I will be back on Tuesday for Tuesday night, 9 p.m. for my next live stream. It might be like 9:09 or 9:15. I have a hard time starting on exactly at 9, but maybe this time we will actually do it exactly at 9. But I wouldn't hold your breath. Anyways, that's it for today, and have a blessed week. And for those who are working or going to school, I wish you success in all of your endeavors this week. Blessings and peace to you. Bye-bye.